Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user Virgo514. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband I'll go on vacation with the kids and my best friend if he's too busy with his work? My husband and I have been married for over 4 years. Our son is 3 and our daughter is 16 months old. My husband has a busy schedule due to both his day job and his business after that, and on Saturdays, and sometimes, if I'm okay with it, Sundays. We had planned to go to Spain at the end of December for a couple of weeks. Like, we've bought tickets, booked a hotel, talked about how we'll spend our 2 weeks there. Then, last weekend, he asked if we could postpone our trip to the end of June. This is a literal 6 months after we're supposed to go. I said, no. It was so unfair that he was pulling this at the last minute. He asked me to understand that his business required him to suddenly change his plans, that it was important that he'd been looking forward to this downtime as much as I had. To provide more context, this isn't the first time this has been an issue. His business hours had been an issue over the past 2 to 3 years. He'd made changes and organized his hours better, and his job had become work from home too, so we had struck a balance that I could be okay with. But his business hours again started infringing on our family time, and he'd been promoted to a managerial role at his day job, so he was now going into work on some days too. I told him I'd been looking forward to this for so long, counting days till our vacation. I told him I'll be going regardless, whether he wants to come or not. And if he doesn't want to come, we can get a refund and my best friend can go in his place. Admittedly, I was lashing out. I have no idea of the logistics of it. But yesterday, I asked him again what his plan was. He tried to show me messages from his clients to show how busy he was during that period. I told him I don't care. He gave me his word. According to him, I'm being unreasonable. I wanted to know, am I the a-hole here? Also, I don't even know if it's logistically feasible and I don't want it to come to it, but would I be the a-hole if I actually went on vacation and took my best friend along? Will it be, in my opinion, no, you wouldn't be the a-hole. He gave you his word. To me, that's it. That's the whole argument. Honestly, I think it sucks that he's willing to break his word because he can't reschedule. I don't know, maybe it depends on what business it is. But still, he gave you his word. He should have planned better. If he wants his business to be successful, one of the skills he needs to have is time management. But to your point, OP, no, I don't think you need to miss out on a holiday that you've been looking forward to and planned for and had his word on going just because he's backtracking now. No. If the whole plane transfer situation, if all of that actually works, then yeah, go and have fun with your friend and your kids. And your husband should reflect on where his priorities are and how he's going to manage them. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. And now let's check out the community comments. Ordinary Audience 363 says, you're talking about next month, right? Unless your airplane tickets are refundable, a postponement would be expensive. You're not allowed to transfer tickets to another person, so your friend will have to buy herself a ticket. Aside from that, it's a 2-week vacation for you to relax a bit with the kids. It's better than sitting at home fuming about a missed holiday. I personally think he is the one being unreasonable. There's no reason for you to stay home, is there? He is upset that he will miss out, so if he can't go, then you can't. That's selfish of him, not the a-hole. And OP responds, I figured they wouldn't be transferable. I believe our tickets should be refundable. I haven't checked because I hate thinking about it, and I believe he'll come through. Archivist Exa says, not the a-hole. How's he going to feel when both the kids have grown up and he kept rescheduling time with them? When he misses important games and memories, when they stop calling him because he wasn't around anyway. No job that's worth having would even have it a possibility that you'd need to be rescheduling a long planned vacation. Candyland Canada says, not the a-hole. It doesn't seem as though you were responding rashly. It comes across as quite normal. You are not being unreasonable. What he's asking for is unfair. You made detailed, costly plans relying on his promises. He knew what those plans were, yet he took on extra work. He asked if you could postpone, which means that he contemplated that you would decline. He made his choices. Now you are responding accordingly. Additional information from OP's comments. We're financially comfortable. Honestly, more than comfortable. I work full-time as an accountant. My husband has a software job plus his tutoring business. I handle all our taxes and budgeting, so I know for sure that taking 2 weeks off wouldn't change anything about how we live. That's what's been so frustrating. I'm not asking him to give up something we need. I'm asking him to make time for something we've earned. His tutoring business started back when he was in college, and for years it wasn't really a problem. But in the last few years, it's grown so much that it's basically a second full-time job. Every semester, he takes on more students. I've asked him to put a cap on it or even consider leaving his day job if he really wants to focus on tutoring. But he always says he doesn't want to waste the free hours during the day, even though honestly, having downtime should be the goal. I also see how our kids barely get any of him. It's like other people's children get his full attention while ours get what's left over. I don't doubt that he loves us. He's a great dad when he's around, but he's just never around enough. A lot of people in our lives thinks what he's doing is admirable because it's tutoring. Even my mom will say things like, "At least he's doing something meaningful," and it makes me want to scream. What about our kids? The Spain trip wasn't just a vacation. It was about finally having 2 uninterrupted weeks as a family. I know it's going to be hot there in summer, and postponing would just make it miserable with the kids. I even thought maybe the compromise could be him doing his classes remotely from there, but I'm honestly so tired of having to negotiate for time that should already belong to us. And just to clarify, my best friend, the one I said would come with me if he backed out, is a woman. I wasn't threatening to run off with another man. I was just angry and disappointed. I've been holding things together quietly for a long time, but this trip was supposed to be a reset for all of us. I'm still hoping he'll realize that and come with us, but if not, I think I'll still go. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and with the additional context, it makes a better case for OP to go. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Hi, thanks a lot for the feedback on my first post. I had decided to suggest he do his tutoring classes online while we were in Spain as a compromise, and that's what I was planning on doing. But my husband caught a cold on Thursday and had been really down and out the last couple of days. He had taken these 2 days off work from his day job, and despite my insistence that he rest, he tried to do his tutoring classes as scheduled, but literally couldn't get through it and canceled those as well. I didn't want to have the conversation while he was sick, so I postponed it. It was great, maybe not the best choice of words as a wife talking about my husband getting sick, lol, to kind of just have him do nothing for these 2 days. He spent time with me and the kids. A few of his friends and some mutual friends of ours also came to our place to see him because they rarely see him outside of important occasions. So last night I brought up the vacation again. He agreed without too much resistance. He said he'll move around some classes or take them in advance, but either way, he'll be with us for the vacation. I thanked him and also told him he needs to take it easy. It's clearly affecting his health. He was like, him being sick isn't because of the work, it's because of the change in weather. I did bring up that we had an agreement earlier and that he'd kept it for a while and we'd really struck a good balance, but things are back to the way they were prior to that. He said he always asked me before filling up Sundays, and that is true, to be frank. It's just there's only so many times I can say no. He also mentioned how 2 people he knows have recently been laid off, that times are bad economically. I told him I don't see why that has to affect him. We're doing well financially. We have more than enough savings. Our careers are good. He has a business that has been growing every year. We're secure where we are. He said he was too sick to talk about this and that right now our kids are young. They need less of him. That his classes are important because students and parents come to him after having heard of him, and that it's important for them to get into good universities. I told him our son is old enough that he knows he wants to spend time with him and that I can compromise on my needs and wants, but not our kids. He got the point I was trying to make and said that he'll make the necessary changes. I'm glad our vacation is back on track. I'd really been looking forward to this as a family. Also, I'm glad I told him how we'd been reneging on the balance we'd established earlier, and he'll be going back to it. He did it last time, so I'm confident he'll do it again. We both just have to work to make sure we keep it in place. Thanks a lot. Well, Opie, I still think your husband needs to mull things over more about his priorities, but at least this sounds like a step in the right direction. Hopefully it keeps going. So here's wishing you and your kids the best. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from this subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user ReasonableVast2576. Am I the a-hole for asking my husband to limit his time with his nephews because our daughters are missing out? Hi, I had an issue yesterday with my husband which I'm conflicted about regarding whether I was in the wrong. My husband and I have 2 daughters, 6 and 8. My sister-in-law and her family live a couple of blocks away from us. They have 2 boys, both 9 years old. Her husband is in the army, so he is away from home a lot. When he's away, the boys come to our house often. They're great boys, respectful and energetic. When they're here, my husband takes them to the park to play soccer. They always say they have a great time, and my sister-in-law also thanks us for it. When they're not around, my husband takes our daughters to the park too. I often join them too, and they also look forward to it. However, when my husband takes the boys along, even though we encourage our girls to go along, they told me they don't enjoy it. Basically, the boys get super competitive and it's not fun the way it is when it's just them with my husband. I take them along by myself, but apparently it's not as much fun. My husband can also only do some days of the week, and when their father's away, the boys come on those days. So, yesterday I asked my husband to talk to his sister and set some kind of limit to those days because our daughters like going to the park with him for soccer, and it's not the same with me or when they go with him and the boys. He looked taken aback and said that they're good kids, their dad's away for long stretches, and they seem to have fun here. I said I never said they weren't good kids, just that our daughters felt like they were missing out. He said he'll encourage them more to come with them, and he'll make sure things don't get too competitive. I said we've gone through that before, and it's just not fun for them. He said telling his nephews this would be cruel and made it sound like I was an a-hole for suggesting it. So I wanted to ask, am I the a-hole? No, OP, I don't think you're the a-hole. I think you're absolutely right. I'm sure they're good boys as well, but your daughters deserve their dad. And if the boy's father is away for long stretches and they spend every single moment that your husband can dedicate to kids with him, then his daughters are getting no time or attention, and that's just wrong. And what you're asking is not to completely cut the boys off and never invite them over anymore. You're just asking that it not be every one of those days that your husband has available. I understand that your husband is trying to help his sister and taking care of his nephews, but he cannot neglect his daughters to do so. And if the girls don't want to go out playing with the boys, he shouldn't try to force them either. They just have different definitions of fun. So no, OP, not the a-hole. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Wes Morgan 1 says, your husband needs to understand that he can't be all things to all people, and that his kids need to come first. That doesn't mean he can't spend time with his nephews, it just means he has to learn to divide his time, not the a-hole. Powered by Chai says, not the a-hole. If it's so bad that even his daughters see it, then he is seriously neglecting his kids. He either needs to find something different that all the kids will enjoy together, or discipline the boys for being too competitive and make sure his own children feel involved. I'm guessing there's an element of sexism in here too, in that he was probably hoping for a son to do all the sporty things with and ended up with 2 girls, which is ridiculous because my daughter has way more in common with her dad than our son does. And Dopey responds, my daughters do like doing sporty things. They really look forward to going to the park with them when it's just them. And I really have tried to do the same things he does with them at the park, but I honestly don't know where I'm going wrong. And my husband also put up a basketball hoop in our backyard, and the girls are really into shooting hoops with him too. And they haven't told him about their issue with playing with the boys directly. My oldest just said she doesn't want to, and my husband just kind of said that's okay. But when him and the boys had left, I asked her and her sister, and they said they don't like playing with the boys. They steal the ball, play too fast, etc. VVBBO says, not the a-hole, but I understand why your husband feels bad about telling his nephews he won't spend as much time with them. I am very close with mine, and it would break my heart to disappoint them. I think the solution might be in finding another activity to do with all the kids. Let's say the boys are there twice a week. Maybe they go play soccer once, and the other day they do an activity that the girls and boys enjoy. Or a day he goes with the boys, and the next one you do something with the boys and he goes with the girls. Unless you're not close with them or don't really have a bond. I think splitting up the time between both parents so you both spend time with your nephews and your daughter might be a good solution. And Dopey responds, someone else suggested the same, and I like that approach. I, along with my sister-in-law together maybe, could do these park sessions with the boys on days my husband is busy so that the girls get their one-on-one soccer time with their dad. And Do Entertainment 425 says, there has to be a happy medium to be found. Can you play with the boys at the park some days while your husband spends more time with the girls? Can your husband plan other activities that aren't soccer for everyone to do together? I agree he needs to prioritize the girls, but I don't think any group has to suffer to do so. And Opie responds, I'll try suggesting this, thank you. I've tried with the girls, but they're not nearly as enthusiastic about it with me than with their dad. He makes it a lot more fun for them. The boys might be easier to keep happy, lol. Well, the community agrees OP is not the a-hole and that the husband should learn how to properly manage this whole thing. They gave her plenty of suggestions, so now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Since today was a holiday, he was going to let his sister know that he'd be taking the kids to the park earlier today, so the boys should come earlier. I asked my older daughter separately whether she wanted to go. She said no, even though she'd been hyped for it in the morning. I told my husband this. While she was cuddling with him, he asked her why she didn't want to come, but she was avoiding giving a reason. Eventually, my husband asked if it was because she didn't like playing soccer anymore. She said no, she did. Then he brought up whether it was because of the cousins, and she shyly admitted that yes, but didn't give the details that she'd given me about the competitive nature and everything. My husband hadn't texted his sister yet, so he told the girls the boys can't join right now, and if they still wanted to go to the park, we could all go. Both my daughters suddenly really wanted to go and went to get dressed. So we're at the park now, and the girls are having fun with him. I think he's going to take the boys later in the evening, I'm not sure. But my daughter telling him seems to have made more of an impact than me saying did. Well, hopefully it did. Hopefully he did listen to what his daughter was saying, because even though she didn't give him all the details, kids can be very expressive when it comes to what they feel. Hopefully your husband was paying attention and it'll be the start of a change. So here's wishing you and your family the best, OP. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliant and it's by user DeathberryWren. No stickers on equipment? Bet. Obligatory long-time lurker, first-time poster. At my current job, warehouse, no public interaction, we all have pallet jacks. Not personal ones, but each of us has our own pallet jack that we use on a day-to-day basis. For over a year and a half, my pallet jack has had a sticker with my name on it. Between my 3 other coworkers and myself, we have an understanding and everyone uses the one that's theirs. That being said, this has never been a problem and neither has the sticker on my pallet jack. until we hired a maintenance guy. We'll call him D-Head or Richard P. Head. Richard P. Head decided that stickers on pallet jacks or any of the heavy equipment those had Decepticon Autobot emblems that a previous employee put on were tacky and unprofessional. Richard P. Head then started to remove the stickers on the equipment any chance he got. One day I came in and the sticker with my name was ripped off my pallet jack. Okay, no problem, just put another one on. Richard P. Head ripped that one off too one day when I was away from my area. Same deal, new sticker. A few days after, my supervisor calls me into the office and goes off on me about how maintenance has complete discretion over the equipment and how it looks, and that if Richard P. Head takes off a sticker, it needs to stay off. As a consequence for putting another sticker on the jack, I needed to remove it and any other stickers on there. You got it, boss. So I removed them, every single one. Warning labels? Gone. Weight limits? Gone. Brand name? Gone. Then I convinced my co-workers to do the same. Boss said no stickers on the equipment anymore. My boss hasn't spoken to me in a week, and I can live with that. Lol. Well, OP, the boss did say no stickers, and, well, to the letter then. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.